What's a creative way that influencers are used at events?
Oh, wait. I actually am like very bullish on one thing that I don't see too often right now is influencers being used at B2B events. It's happening. If you go to a lot of trade shows now, like I was at Dreamforce back in September, Corporate Bro was there. I don't know if Corporate Natalie was there, but Corporate Bro was there. They had all the sales creators that were there. Corporate Sween, my friend Ben Sweeney, he was there. So basically what they're doing, and Inbound did the same thing, where they're giving free passes and they're also financially incentivizing folks to come and create content about the event. CES, another major one in Vegas, a lot of my favorite tech creators were there and they were contracted with brands. So I think a really, really great way to work with influencers is to utilize them at events. You spend so much money and you invest tons of time and energy to be present at these big conferences. Some companies spend like millions of dollars, like especially at Dreamforce. And the worst thing is you don't want your investment to just end right when the event is done. You want it to have shelf life. And so working with folks like you guys to help create that shelf life through content is really, really valuable. But then also, I think working really closely with an influencer as well to help with that further distribution. I think one of the challenges is, brands invest a lot of money and time into content, and it's really live or die by, the founder or the brand page. But if you combine that with influencer marketing, it helps get additional distribution. And I think like the two strategies just like work really, really well together.
Yeah. And we did that at the demand-based New York event.
Yeah,
perfectly. One of the best street interview case studies that we had was that you were there and you were seeking out all the other sales creators there to get into that content. And it was smart. You went to the conference with a plan, like I want to get these people in the content, and then posting that on social and getting their distribution as well.
Here's the strategy that we used to generate 2 million impressions at an event. So we basically had a sales, my mind's thinking.
Millions and millions and millions.
We basically had an event for salespeople at Demand Base, and luckily it was in New York, so there's a lot of creators in New York. So we invited a bunch of sales influencers to this happy hour. And when you have creators and influencers and thought leaders in the room, or even customers, like take advantage of that. And so we worked with your team at EventShark, and basically we did street interviews. We came up with 5 questions. We prioritized the sales influencers first, and we asked them the same 5 questions. It was very easy to do. And then we started asking just random people the same 5 questions, and then we chopped it up into 5 videos, 1 video per question. And on Instagram alone, we had 1.8 million impressions. I didn't do the math on the other ones, but TikTok also did really, really well, and LinkedIn did really well as well. I think we had 3 videos both hit 800,000 views on LinkedIn. I don't know what the total count was, but it performed really, really well.
Yeah, that was perfectly executed.
And I want to call one thing out. I think for companies that are thinking about doing influencer in-person activation at events, it's not a bad idea to partner with a vendor on the production side. And the reason for that is the logistical intensity of doing a shoot, and as well as post-production content might be a very high lift for the internal marketing team as well as the influencers themselves. And what I mean by that is the internal team's usually not equipped to run an on-site production and a shoot while they're also managing the influx of attendees and overall managing the event itself, right? And the influencers aren't necessarily versed in editing post-production skill set, right? Like not everyone's a Vin Matano.
That's true.
Who's putting out bangers on the daily, right? If you work with, especially the more historically entrenched creators, right, they're generally text post forward, right? And just now going into video. So when you partner with a great vendor on that side, you're reducing that logistical intensity and you're maximizing the output that you can get from a motion.
And if it's content for the brand, you're also like kind of staying in line with your own brand identity or your brand like styles, I guess I don't know if that's right, aesthetic maybe. Or quality, I should say. You stay with your brand quality. Because some creators, like Sarah Uwe, for example, one of my favorite creators, but she does a very raw, it seems like she just picks up her camera and talks, right? And she's really good at that. But your brand, if you wanted to post on your brand page or run as an ad, like maybe you want that high production type of style content. So that's why it's really good to like combine the two.
Yeah.
You know how to plug myself, right?
No. It works.
Yeah. And also I like the idea of bringing the influencers or the creators to help, because this is not a new idea, bringing influencers to an event. They've been doing it at Coachella for like 10, 15 years.
Fire Festival?
Fire Festival. It's not a new idea, but just bringing bringing them in and getting that exposure at the event. And also they can post in real time at the event. I think that's important too. Like we're good about doing the post-production, but you can get to people covering the event.
Yeah,
live.
stories and stuff. I think the problem is though, like the B2B events are just still kind of really bad for the most part. Like I honestly, I've been to like, you guys have been to the most events on the planet. Like that's your whole business. But I've been to a good amount of events myself, and they're just, there's very little good B2B events. And I think one of the cool things that I really enjoy doing actually is because I do create sometimes lifestyle content on places like TikTok and stuff like that. Sometimes I get invited to some of these influencer events for consumer products. Like I went to like a Logitech event I got invited to like a Meta for the new frames event. I got invited to this like this other technology, consumer technology event. And I think they're really cool. They do a really good job of like creating themes and basically creating an environment where the influencer wants to post, because those events, usually the influencers for the more casual events, not the conferences, just like an event, they're usually not paid to show up. They're just invited. And so you really want to create an environment that it's encouraging the creator to like capture the moment. So like, for example, like I went to this Logitech event. They gave everyone free speakers because they were releasing new speakers, everyone that attended. And it was like a passport theme because it was like, oh, you can travel with the speaker. And so there was different stations and they like had experiences and there was like themed cocktails for like travel. And that is just an environment where the creators were just, they want to capture that content. You don't even have to ask them. And that's what's I think kind of missing in B2B.